guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Emyrichy Stitches, otherwise known as Emyrichy on Facebook. You can also follow our page on Facebook, Emyrichy Stitches, on Instagram, still Emyrichy Stitches. Today I'm going to illustrate on how to make a crop top with bell sleeve, overlap crop top with a bell sleeve, like the one you've seen on the thumbnail. So before we start, I'm going to use paper. This is it, sample of it, like what you saw on the thumbnail. This is sample of it, like you've seen, with the long strip ropes for wrapping. Overlap, there's no zipper behind, you've seen, but I did a cut for that, but there's none, so that it will relax behind you very well. With the bell sleeve, as you can see, with the elastic for the sleeve, and then bias. Don't fail to buy bias, in which you use to pipe all around to make the work look neat. Thank you very much. We're going to set now to work. So 2 yards is required because of the bell sleeve, the long strip rope. 2 yards is required to make this overlap crop top with the bell sleeve. Now I'm going to use this. These are the measurements I'm going to use: the full length, the bust, the shape, shoulder, back length, sleeve, round sleeve, under bust, and then under bust circumference. I'm going to set to work now. I'm going to use this to illustrate. This is only 1 yard, but I have another yard that I'm going to use to show you for the sleeve. For those of you that watch my video with the organza top with a puff sleeve, you have an idea of how to make the sleeve, but I'll still have to show you the bell sleeve because the sleeve, the other one, is different from this one. So we're going to, but it has similar things. I have common things with that. It's a little bit different. This stops you at the ankle, like with what you've seen on the thumbnail, whereas the other one stops here at your elbow. So you're going to set to work. It's 1 yard of fabric to represent like 1 yard of fabric. So I'm going to separate it so that we can have the front and the back. Okay, this is what you have. After folding it into two, you cut it and separate. Then you fold it again. Fold the front separate and the back separate. This is how it's going to look like. Then at the front, you're going to keep an allowance of 4 inches. You can decide to cut the front separately and the back separately. It depends on what you want. But in this case, like the one I showed you, I've identified a zipper allowance so that it will relax well at my back, but it's not compulsory. Like I said, you can allow your own to be like this, the back, without anything. This fabric, this crop top using organza, it's dartless. There's no dart. There's no dart in front or behind. Only thing is that you wrap it. The overlap, it's wrap. You wrap it and then turn it from behind to the front. So before we set to work, one of the paper here has folded into two, represent your back, while one represents the front. I'm going to cut mine. I won't separate any. I'm going to cut both of them at the same time. So well folded into 2 equal parts, as you've seen. I'm going to start to measure the full length, which is 18. In this case, I'm going to take the direct 18. There's nothing like zipper allowance, or there's nothing like seam allowance because we're turning it with bias. So I'm taking the front and the back 18. When I'm done, I'm going to slip the back. But mind you, I'm not going to keep it placed like this to cut to, but I'm just cutting the length because we need to have an equal this thing first. The full length, which is 18. Now have the full length, we're going to cut it out. This part you've cut out can save as your the strip you're going to use. See, you can use it like the long strip. After folding it, you can use it like the long strip. If it's not long enough, you can join it, so you won't still throw it away. Like I said, your organza, you're going to use 2 yards. Why we're using 2 yards is not because of the wrap top itself, but because of the bell sleeve. So you're going to use 2 yards. First of all, half yard can save you for this if you have the same measurement with what I have here. But if your client is fat, you can increase it to using 1 yard. But half yard for me is going to be okay. Like you've seen, I've taken the full length 18 by 18. I'm going to separate them now. To start first with the front, then the back. The front here, I'm going to mark out 4 inches, like allowance 4 inches. You have to keep 4 inches. 4 inches. Same here, 4 inches. 4 inches. 4 inches. 4 inches. So use your, so you can have a straight line. Sorry, I forgot we have ruler here. You connect the lines. You have a 4 inches here, depending on how open the client wants it. If you want it that much open, the overlap should be much open. You can decide to use more than 4 inches. It's your choice. Can you keep the space of maybe 5 to 6, but use 4. I would advise you use 4 so that it won't be too open. Then you mark out the shoulder. The shoulder of my client here is 14, and 14 divided by 2, you have 7. In this part, you're not going to add any allowance for the shoulder. Then you mark out the armhole. The armhole, you have to determine it. You have the bust divided by 4. The bust is 34 divided by 4. You're going to have 8.5. You mark it out here, 8.5, and connect the line. 8.5. Connect the line. Okay. On the line of the 8.5, you mark out all your measurements. Start from immediately after the line that you kept. You mark your bust on the armhole line. Your bust here is 8. The bust of my client is 34, and we have, if you divide it by 4, you have 8.5. You put additional allowance of 2 inches, but 1.5 is still okay. 1/2 is still okay since you're not putting that or anything. Then you still place your tape. You mark out. It's your desire if you wish to. Since there is no that, I won't advise you to mark out the bust, but the under bust or bust line, except you putting that. If you're holding that, you still mark it out. Mark out your bust, under bust line. Under bust line here is 12.5. And you turn your tape and map out your under bust circumference, which we have here 28. 28 divided by 4, we have 7. And we add additional allowance of, don't forget it was 1/2. Still do same to the shape. Don't forget the down part, the half length of my client was just 18. So I'm going to use the 18, which represents the length. Don't forget this is like a crop top. So it stops 1 inch above the navel. So I'm going to mark out the shape here. Shape here is 30. 30 divided by 4, we have 7/2. Then we still add the allowance of 1/2. And we connect the lines right from the armhole. Connect the lines is what you got now. Then you round, don't forget to round the shoulder, the armhole, sorry, and round it by, mark it out 4 and round it by 4. And use your cuff rulers to do this too. Mark it out. Then to avoid that this thing coming out, can mark in coming here too by 1 inch. 1 inch to avoid that this thing lapses under the bust. Close to the bust, you mark out 1, then you come in this way, then take it, connect it. That's how you have your armhole now proper. So we're going to mark out the neckline. The neckline here, we're going to take 3/2 for the up neckline, and then 3/2 too for the down neckline. 3/2, 3/2. Then I'll draw a straight line to make it straight. Straight line. And still down here, you connect it very well. This square neck, but to round it, take it down from up here. You round the neckline. Okay. Now have your neckline. This is what you have, like for the normal top. Then it's now time for us to include our this thing, the overlap. So you start from the 3/2 line to connect your line to where you have this apex here. There you have this angle here, sorry. From the 3/2 to where you have here. So you're going to connect now. So you can bring out your overlap. Like I said, mine was that less. It's your wish for you to put. If you're going to include that, I'm still going to show you that. So this is how you take it. Okay, I've connected it now. So you now slope your shoulder by 1 inch. Mark it out. Still hold your ruler. Take it from the neck to the shoulder. Is what you've got now. We're now done. If you still wish to include your dart, you're going to take it nipple to nipple. Of my client is 7, so I decided to take the 3.5. Yeah, you still mark it the 3.5, 3/2, 3/2. Then you mark it to where you have 3/2. Connect the lines. Take it straight. Sorry. Now you take it to where you have your nipple point line. The nipple point. Take it to where you have this line. Sorry, but under bust line. If you're holding a straight dart, it's going to stop 1 inch above the nipple point, because to have your nipple point is going to be your under bust line -3, which is you turn your tape this way to have it. So we're going to have 9/2 to -3. We have -3. This is where your -3 is. So this is where your nipple is. So you can put the line 3/2, 3/2. You take it 1 inch below. 1 inch below your this thing. So you connect the lines. Now you measure half here for 1 yard and 1 inch if you wish. Then take 1 inch here. Then you connect the lines like this. That's if you still wish to put that like this. Then connect this way too, to your right and to your left. Okay, you can see you have your dart already. Now you're going to hold. You can decide to take half, it's your choice, depending on how you want the bust to come out. So we are going to cut out. This is, don't forget, this is for the front piece. We're going to cut it out now. Like I said, in my own case, I didn't include the dart, and it was still okay with me. See, since I'm going to wrap it. Okay. We now have our overlap already. This is for the front piece. You open it up. Okay. This is for the front piece. Can you see the overlap already? right hand, anywhere you wish for it to overlap, the right to the front to the back, it's your choice. But this is our overlap. We have our overlap already, so I'm going to take this for the front piece. I'm going to now do the back piece now. You know, the back piece now. So before I'll now go to the back, for my back piece, like I said, so that it will relax, I put 1 inch. It doesn't matter. I had already placed the 1 inch for zipper allowance, but I'm not going to. There was no zip. I just wanted it to relax very well behind me. So there was no zip. I marked my 1 inch zipper allowance first. Connect the lines. Okay, then I now mark the shoulder of my client, which is 14 divided by 2, you have 7. The armhole, same thing I did for the front, armhole, which is 8/2. You connect the lines. Okay. Now the bust, have the bust here, divide by 2, have 8/2, then we put the allowance of 1/2, then the shape to 30 divided by 2, we have 7 1/2, 7 1/2, divided 30 divided by 4, we have 7 1/2. Then we still put our additional allowance of 1/2. So we are going to connect the lines now. In this case, it's not compulsory for you to put the under bust line if you're not using it. So still mark it out 4 inches. Then you round. Is what you have. Then slope the shoulder by 1 inch, mark it out 1. The neckline, the upper neckline will be 3/2, like what, the same thing you took for the front. But the down neckline, you're going to take 1 inch. So you now connect, and then you flip. This for your back piece. You're done. It's your desire to put the darts. It's not compulsory. Now cut it out. Open it up. After you're going to still sew it again. Sew it back again. So I'm going to show you now how to use to sew it. You're going to sew here, close the zipper, then open it up this way. Open it up so it will relax both. And the zipper, please don't fail to tap so that both will be at the same. Notch it. Both you have the same. One side won't be bigger than one. Then you now close it. After closing, you join the shoulder of the front to that of the back. Thereafter, you use your bias to pipe it right from the one side of the overlap to the other side. So I'm going to show you that. I've shown you now. You sew the shoulder, show everything. Everything still remains open like you've seen. So you're going to use your bias I showed buyers in other videos. The buyers this thing to pipe, right, starting from this point, you pipe it all around to the next to this other point where you're going to have the overlap effect, depending on how you want yours to overlap. Some people want it to the right, while some want it to the left. It's your desire. Now when you're done piping all, you're going to open it up. You open it up this way after piping. Open it up. You take the shape. You take the shape, fold it, and take the shape, your desired shape, how you want it to be. Shape. Right, this is what we had. I don't know, but you have to take your shape. That's all what I know. You take your shape. After taking the shape for both sides, holding it down firm, you're going to open it this way. Let's say this is the shape. This is the shape. Like what we did for the other side. This is the same for this side. Take the shape. Pin it according to what you sew it according to the line of the shape. Now you open the fabric up this way so you can have this thing. Bring it up so you can check the back length. If not, the back will be a little bit longer than the back in the front. So you're going to slope the back now by 1 inch, or depending on the person's back, you can use 1.5. Like my client here, her back length was 14, so you're going to we're going to slope it by 1 inch, like I said. Slope the back by 1 inch so you can minimize this puffy look. You can do this first before you even start sewing. And then the back length, it skipped my memory, sorry. So you can add this. Slope it first before. By 1 inch, you minimize it by 1 inch so it will lap you very well. Then we now have the overlap. Now you're only left with the sleeve. So like I said, you're going to make your long strip, attach one. After preparing it, you fold it neatly and turn it to the other side. You're going to attach one here to one side and attach the other to this other side. So you now have your, let me just pin it down since it's a rough stuff. Sorry, I'd already done sewing the dress before making this video. You think I would have even used that to illustrate, but I think you still have it better. Please don't put it just straight like this. You have to turn it. I'm just doing a rough distance so you could have an idea. So you still attach it down here, so it's behind here too. Don't forget there's no lining or anything. So this is how you already have. You can see you already have this thing. The only thing that we're left with now is just this thing. But before you attach this, you're going to still pipe the down with bias here so that it will be neat. If not, it will be rough. You're going to pipe the down with it. So you now have this thing. As you see how it looks, you wrap it behind. It's your desire. Put this other rope behind. Turn it to the front. The silicone will come and tie it here. Now I'm done with the upper part of the bodice itself, so I'm going to show you illustrate on how to make the sleeve, cut the bell sleeve, so you could have a full thing. You are done with overlap. With this, you can use it to sew, cut the normal overlap top or anything of your choice you wish to. With this illustration here, so we're done with this. As you can see, this is for the upper body. So we're going to illustrate for the sleeve. The sleeve for the leftover fabric, remember you use like half yard or more, like 1/2 quarter yard. So we're going to use the leftover now to bring out the bell sleeve. First of all, depending on where your client wants it to stop, mine wants it to stop here at the ankle, where you have your wrist, sorry, not ankle, This is where you have your wrist. So you're going to mark it out. Like if it was 20, I don't know if this length is up to, okay, it's up to. So you're going to round it, starting down up here. You round it by 20. This is just for one side. Fold it in a bias form. Sorry, I didn't tell you how to fold it. Fold it in a bias form. This is just for one side. If the fabric is big enough, you can fold it into two. It's 20. It's 20. 20. You can decide to use 22 since you're going to still fold it to put the elastic. This side is not up to. Okay, we can decide to use the side enters well, but let me just mark out. Just want you to have the idea. If it was to be fabric, it would have been bigger than this. So that's it. You now mark where your armhole is. That's 8/2. That's where the armhole is. So you're going to connect starting from here, and from up there. You just bring it out like an armhole too. Sorry, I've already passed the line. Connect it to bring out the sleeve. In bell sleeve, what you have to make is just like the same full flare sleeve. Here will be a little bit slimmer, while the other side will be big. So you now cut it. Cut it and round the down part. You can use this and fold the second one, and you just place this one on the second one and bring the second one out without stress. This is how the sleeve will look like you've seen. The round sleeve here has two parameters, 10 and 13. You make sure this side is up to 13. That will enter your sleeve. Is even more than that will enter the sleeve very well. And you shape it. Here will be a little bit slimmer. What we have here will be puffy, like what you've seen. It looks like cone, like that's what we call bell sleeve. You're going to fold down here to make it neat. Use your bias to pipe round, then you fold it, then pass your elastic according to your wrist. Like the person's wrist here is 10 inches, so then you now cut your elastic maybe by 6 by 6. That's 12. 2. Use your safety pin to push it in to the other side, then drag it. It will have this effect you've seen. You've already seen it. Then use bias to pipe it first before. And it first. You'll see how it will look. See the bell sleeve. Upper here is slim. Then this side it is wider. Here is a little bit slim. Then we have wide. Like what I told you earlier. You're going to use bias to pipe all around. When you're done, please don't fail to weave. I didn't weave this. I'll weave it before wearing. You weave all. You see the back, what I did. I piped the neck all around to right, starting from this point. Turn it to this other side. See the way I attached the long strips for wrapping. So hope you learned something. Thank you.